There are more white-tailed deer in the hill country in Texas than there were on the entire continent of the United States 110 years ago. We harvest more deer annually in Texas than existed anywhere in the world 110 years ago. And the similar stories for Rocky Mountain elk, for wild turkey, for ducks, for pronghorn antelope, for the American bison. This North American model that's based on sustainable use and well-regulated hunting as an element of that is a proven, indisputably successful model that's so successful that it has been copied around the world. That's one of the reasons why Africa wildlife has turned around to the extent that it has.
It's really a pretty simple conversation. I mean, I saw a guy yesterday here, you know, he hunts some ducks, and he made the comment, I don't see how anybody could shoot some of these animals like a rhino. So I said, well, I was just on a farm in, you know, a Kala Rancho farm in Namibia, and they have our black rhino herd. 2 years ago, one of the old males was kicked out of the herd, basically, which is what rhinos do. And the unfortunate thing, they're past breeding age, but they also are aggressive with other rhinos and kill them. And that one particular rhino took that particular herd from 15 to 7. Yes, it was a wealthy hunter who purchased and took that hunt, but $300,000 went straight to rhino protection in Namibia. So, you know, when you explain things like that, when you explain how Zimbabwe and the Bubye Valley Conservancy, how they started with 0 lions, it was basically an agricultural mix of, it's 1 million acres almost. And so they brought in 16 lions. Now they have so many lions that are really double what biologists say they should have, upwards of 500 plus lions. And I think once you explain or once you talk about how these species are managed when you're putting the animal, and I say animal in general terms, first. When you do, your offtake of 2% of a group of animals that increases in population by 20%, which they are in that part of Zimbabwe, and that money, they spend $750,000 plus a year on anti-poaching. And obviously the habitat is managed for wildlife. I think once you can walk someone through those, they still may not feel comfortable with themselves with pulling the trigger on some of these animals, but they tend to understand what's being accomplished through all these efforts.
I don't hide the fact that I hunt, but it's not the first thing that I tell somebody either. But if you get to know me, you know I'm a hunter. It's part of who I am. It's what I do. I believe in hunting conservation, and if you are a rational person and are willing to have a discussion with me, I'm willing to talk to you about it and explain my perspective about it and hopefully educate a few people along the way. I think most people are open-minded. Once you start explaining to them what hunting really is and how it really works, and that there's a difference between hunting and poaching. A lot of people don't realize that there's a difference. They don't understand where hunting conservation dollars go. They don't understand that conservation dollars are actually some of the only protection some species of animals have, that there's no one else out there doing anti-poaching efforts in some of these hunting areas, that hunting dollars pay for that. Because sustainable use works. Hunting conservation works. That's proven time and time again. We have the data to show it. And I just want to be able to ensure that future generations can have these same experiences and see the things that I've seen. And there's a lot of things that are encroaching on that. I mean, loss of habitat and population growth, and there's a lot of things that impact that. But hunting is one of the things that is consistently protecting all of that.
How to convince people sustainable use hunting is a valuable tool is hard to do. There are some people that it makes no difference what you say, their minds are made up, you can't change them. If you present the facts to a reasonable person, sometimes they will agree that it is a good thing to do. I have friends that have more or less converted to They won't hunt, they'll never hunt, but they agree that it can be a good tool.
How can a hunter be for life? The fact is, we are for life with all the money that we raise for conservation. You know, it's there again, the paradox. Hunters care about the wildlife. And without hunting dollars going into communities in Africa, the conservation efforts, we wouldn't have the life that we have over there. You name it, hunters have brought back the life of many, many species.
We hunt for the life of the animals because we've given them value, and it gives people an incentive to want to protect those animals. I'm referring to Africa specifically here, but I think it's true anywhere, that if they protect the animal that way, it can usually provide them employment of some kind that they might not have otherwise. They share that with the people in the concession, whatever that might be. And once again, they have food that they know that they're going to be able to take home and have fresh meat for dinner.
It is the ability to know that you are protecting wildlife. It is the ability to know that you are protecting wilderness areas and that you are providing food, whether it's for your family or your friends or for people that need that meat a whole lot more desperately than you do. But it's the adventure, it's the closeness to nature, and it's the connection to nature for me. And long before I was a hunter, that's the thing that attracted me to the outdoors and wanted me to get out there and start to learn about tides and fish that lived in brackish salt water where I grew up and how to catch the fish, and later to the patterns of duck and deer movement and things like that. I like to think of myself as a naturalist that likes to hunt.
The future of hunting is positive. Its access is more difficult, and that's because the human population is growing so much. You know, in Texas, our wildlife populations are at all-time highs in almost every animal, and it's through management, through hunting.
We have to get the word out with the We Hunt for Life campaign that we're doing is doing a good job of that, and that does stress the fact that we hunt for life and that we are responsible for the survival of a lot of these animals and not the anti-hunters.
If you ask 10 different people why they hunt, you're going to probably get 10 different answers, but everybody's going to say that they hunt for the adventure, that they hunt for the experience, they hunt for the connection to wildlife that they have. For many, the fact that there's a conservation element or a benefit to communities because of the proteins that's provided is an afterthought. And it's not why they hunt. They're happy that it's an offshoot of it, but it's not why they hunt.
It's just that I have a passion for hunting, and I think hunting matters. I think it creates an environment that we would not have without hunting.